Okay, Math 9, let's get after it. We are going to put all of our algebraic knowledge into word problems, which means we are going to have to come up with the equations ourselves. So it's not as bad as you think, again, if you parse it out into little pieces at a time. And remember, you're in charge. So a number multiplied by 2. Well, what does that mean? Well, it always starts by a let statement. Let n be a number. You've dictated that. So now you know a number multiplied by 2, well, that just means 2 times n. And then adding 7, well, okay, plus 7 results in, well, that sounds like equals 23. And would you look at that, we just wrote the equation of, we just wrote a mathematical equation from a sentence. Okay, so we pulled the information out of the word. And now we're just solving for n. Minus 7 minus 7. 2n equals 16, divide both sides by 2, n equals 8. And you can check when you're done and be like, okay, well, that means that 2 times 8 plus 7 better be 23, and it is. So look at that, you're good, right? So the hard part is getting the information out of that sentence. So let's look at another one here. The sum, okay, that's an important word. Sum means addition. Consecutive numbers, that's another important thing to consider. Here, let's look at 3 consecutive numbers, 4, 5, and 6. Those are consecutive. They occur one right after the other. So if you picked variables, you could say, okay, what about x, y, and z? Those could be 3 consecutive numbers. Well, that means that x plus y plus z is equal to 48. But the problem there is you can't solve for 3 different variables at the same time. So you want to see, can I write the other variables in terms of x, for instance, in terms of one of the variables? And we can because we know they're consecutive. Look at 4, 5, 6. 5 is 4 plus 1, which means if y comes after x, y is the same as x plus 1. It's just 1 more than x. And 6 is 4 plus 2. So if x was before in this instance, z is then x plus 2. So we actually just have x plus 1, which is the next number, plus x plus 2, which is the next number. And now we have it all in terms of one variable. So what you can do there then is add or group your like terms. So 3x plus 3 equals 48. And then we're doing our 2 steps to finish the question. 3x equals 45. Divide both sides by 3, x is 15. And then you can check if x is 15 and y is x plus 1, y is 16. And if z is x plus 2, z is 17. And if you add 15, 16, and 17, you get 31 plus 17, you get 48. So you get exactly what you'd expect. And it comes down to understanding that consecutive piece. So now let's look at one with angles. So angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So similarly, we could say again, okay, well, A plus B plus C, if those are my 3 angles, need to equal 180. Now, let's see what information they give us. The second angle, and that sounds important, is 3 times as large as the first. So what that means, if B is my second angle, B is equal to 3 times A, right? And then the third angle is 30 degrees bigger than the first. So that means C has to be my first one plus 30. So substitute those statements in for B and C, and you end up with A plus 3A plus A plus 30, and you get 180. And this is great because now we have 5A plus 30 equals 180. Subtract 30 on both sides, and we get 5a equals 150. And then if you divide both sides by 5, you get a equals 30, and that's 30 degrees. So you have one angle, and that means b would be 3 times a, which would be 3 times 30, which means b is 90 degrees. And c would be 30 plus 30, which would be 60 degrees. So it means we have a triangle which is 30, 60, and 90 degrees. And those add up to 180. So again, it's about parsing out that information. So one more. So 3 consecutive numbers. Okay, I'm going to call them n. And now we know better than to call them different letters. Next number would be n plus 1. And the number after that would be n plus 2. So we know that. And then it says, such that the first number plus twice the second number. So here's where brackets are going to be important. The first number plus twice the second number. Okay, you need to put these n plus 1 in brackets because n plus 1 is our second number. And then plus 7 less than the third. So you could put this in brackets too if you wanted, because that's my third number minus 7. 7 less than the third is equal to 53. Okay, so let's see what happens. Multiply that in. There's nothing multiplying on the n plus 2, so we can drop those brackets. N plus 2n plus 2 plus n plus 2 minus 7 equals 53. And now I'm going to group my like terms. So now I get 4n minus 3, because plus 2 minus 7 equals 53. Add 3 to both sides, 4n equals 56. Divide both sides by 4, and n is equal to 14. So I get a value for n. Okay, so I get a value for n is 14, and that means what are my consecutive numbers? It means my numbers are 14, 15, and 16. And if you consider the question, we added 14 with 2 times the second number, so 30, plus 7 less than the third, so 16 minus 7 is 9. And if you add those numbers together, those are what's expressed in our question, you get 53. But those are our consecutive numbers, 14, 15, and 16. So word problems are a bit of a puzzle. So if you like puzzles, you'll like this. Have fun.